Alright everyone, third and final game of the best of 3 between Bowmore and SirGruut on the Warpstone Cup. Yes, I know the second battle was a bit short, but that's because the third battle is super close and super long. So yeah, just sit back and enjoy this exciting battle and this best of 3. Bowmore going for the Lizardman here, a very classic and well early Warhammer 3 anti-Cathay box build here. All the killing power goes into the single entity, a regular Dreadsaurian, not the Shredder of Lustria. Less melee stats, less leadership, but does save up some funds to get some pretty expensive monsters here. The Bastillodon with Rev Crystal and Lord Mazdamundi with a rather kitted out loadout. Apotheosis for healing, Net of Emmentalk for area of effect control, and Banishment plus Ruination of Cities to nuke enemy blobs. Because the Dreadsaurian still has the same amount of HP as the Shredder of Lustria, it will still be as effective to drop those Apotheosis and Rev Crystal healing onto this non-regiment of renowned Dreadsaurian. For the rest of the army here, a bunch of skinks scattered all over the battlefield. 4 skink skirmishers and 4 skink cohorts. They're not going to be rushing into melee. Instead, the single entities will be responsible for disrupting the Cathay box alongside the help of some Ripper-Dactyl riders on the flanks. And then, once the box is broken, the skinks will rush in and eliminate the scattered infantry. On the other side there, Grand Cathay is holding a box right now for sure. Peasant Long Spears and Jade Warriors. They're guarding a ton of Iron Hail Gunners. 4 of them in fact rain down those AP fire onto the Lizardman monsters. And then a single Celestial Dragon got in the middle as an infantry backbone. Very elite anti-large armor-piercing halberd infantry, and then they're supporting Tzeentch the Watcher, who is already firing at the Lizardman formation, though not exactly the best target. Not that he has any other better target in range anyways. And the rest of the army here, leading the army, Doming the Iron Dragon, coming in with Plague of Rust and Final Transmutation in the skies, a bunch of Onyx Crowman to counteract the Lizardman aerial threat, and Empress Crowman, a rather elite flying infantry when you think about it. 38 attack, 41 defense. It is pretty much the same level of melee stats as a lot of mid to high tier infantry. And then one more unit of Peasant Long Spears guarding the rear, and that's it for the army builds. Now let's just go back into the normal speed and get the battle starting here, as the Lizardman cautiously advancing. Some of the skink skirmishers will be taking fire from Tzeentch the Watcher, but that's fine for them. They're pretty dirt cheap anyway, so taking damage from an expensive artillery isn't the worst deal. And more importantly, with the skink skirmishers in the front, their blow dots can do some pretty nice damage against the Onyx Crowmen if they stray too close to these Lizardman skirmishers. We'll go into a bit of fast forward here as Lizardman is just advancing while the Crowmen are trying to do a bit of teasing against the skirmishers, but they're taking some blow dots in the face. The Tzeentch the Watcher is now chipping away the health of Dreadsaurian, doing some pretty noticeable damage overall, but still 15,000 maximum HP on the Dreadsaurian means that he can tank those shots for days, especially when there are healing coming from Lord Mazdamundi, Apotheosis, and Rev Crystal. So already a first Rev Crystal on the Dreadsaurian here, recovering some of the lost HP from Tzeentch's shot, while the skink skirmishers approaching close to the enemy frontline, whittling down those Peasant Long Spears, and Dreadsaurian plowing straight through those Jade Warriors. Yes, they might have that formation and densely packed charge defense and whatnot, but oh well, that doesn't really matter against the sheer mass of Dreadsaurian, plying straight into the Iron Hail Gunners, disrupting their shooting already, but the other Iron Hail Gunners might just point-blank fire into Dreadsaurian, which is why the Apotheosis and the Shield of the Old Ones come in handy alongside the Scaly Skin Missile Resistance. At the back there, the Banishment nuked one of the Iron Hail Gunners, and the other one, these guys, probably got wrecked by a Ruination of City as well. But yeah, the Ripper Dactyls are diving into the back line as well, disrupting yet another unit of Iron Hail Gunners, and at this point all 4 units of Iron Hail Gunners are completely shut down for now. Ripper Dactyls are taking a lot of damage, but this might be worth it as long as the Iron Hail Gunners remain silent. At the back there, Tzeentch the Watcher is uncontested for now, safely sitting back and just shooting away the health of the Dreadsaurian from afar. But that's fine, there's still half HP on the Dreadsaurian, while the skink cohorts are now rushing in alongside the skink skirmishers, chasing after the routed Iron Hail Gunners. A shot missed from Tzeentch there, so the Dreadsaurian will live for a bit longer. In this guy's Empress Crowman actually routed and even probably shattered away these Projectile Riders. These guys are fighting against the Onyx Crowmen, taking quite a bit of damage, but their anti-infantry bonus will help them in this fight, especially with Skink Skirmishers poking down those Onyx Crowmen. Now back to the middle blob fight here. All the single entities are in this blob, plowing straight through those Cathay infantry. The Dressorian definitely received a lot of attention from Cathay down to half health, and Rev Crystal trying to keep him in the fight, though the heal cap is in sight. Zhao Ming and Tzeentch are making some really good progress against the Dressorian, though unfortunately for them, the Lizardmen still have 2 more monsters, Master Mundi and Rev Crystal, around the area bullying the Cathay infantry. Thankfully for Cathay, Celestial Dragon God are here surrounding the Dressorian, working down his HP rather fast, while the Jade Warriors are disrupting the Dressorian, preventing him from chasing after Tzeentch for now, but he can simply, after all, push through the enemy infantry, so Peasant Long Spears are coming in to help out. On the far side there, Bowmore really on top of his Skink Micro for now. All these scattered Skink Skirmishers, Skink Hordes are going after all these scattered Iron Hail Gunners and preventing them from returning and provide any more fire support. But the Dressorian is in a bit of a pickle right now. His HP is getting lower and lower. Master Mundi trying to save the big monster piece with a mass net of Ammontok pinning down everything of Cathay in the vicinity, but the problem is that Zhao Ming already was in contact with the Dressorian, and that was enough to put Dressorian into a rout. A ruination of cities attempted onto this entirely netted blob of Cathay troops and did some really good damage against the Peasant Long Spears. However, the Dressorian is still routed for now, especially with the Empress Crowman so close in the vicinity, keeping him in the routing status. Cold-Blooded is attempted to recover its leadership, but the Empress Crowman are coming in to follow up and try to keep it pressured away. Now, Master Mundi attempts to push through the enemy resistance and try and get to the Dressorian and save him, but the Empress Crowmen are just flying a little bit too fast for Master Mundi to catch up, while the rest of the Lizardman units can't really stave off these Empress Crowmen. Perhaps these Projectile Riders can attempt it, but straight up a charge from the Empress Crowman is annihilating these Projectile Riders, and the Empress Crowman will continue their chase. At this point, it is pretty much futile to recover the Dressorian, so the Skink Cohorts are returning to the fight here. Master Mundi, also realizing that Dressorian is a lost cause, decided to go after Celestial Dragon Guard instead, trying to get the charge in them before their brace, but seems like he's having second thoughts, not wanting to fight those elite halberds in melee. The Skink Cohorts are now chasing off some routed units of Long Spears, while the Peasant Long Spears over here regrouped and still at half health are pushing off the Bastillodon with Rev Crystal. Tzeentch has once again returned to safety and firing once more. Now that all the single entities are all the way on the other side of the battlefield, he was definitely pressured for a bit there by all the Lizardman Dinos, Master Mundi, Rev Crystal, and at one point the Dressorian were all ganging up on him, but now he is just safely poking off Lord Master Mundi. Good news for Master Mundi though, he does have 20% of ward save and 25% missile resistance when he has activated Shield of the Old Ones, so he has been tanking the damage for a bit here, plus he does have a ton of HP. Though he doesn't really want to take prolonged shots from the giant bow, so he is now beelining straight for Tzeentch the Watcher, dropping a bit of Apotheosis heal on himself, and earlier also using the net to prevent Zhao Ming from chasing after himself. The Bastillodon with Rev Crystal will be pushing through some spears and are also now going after Tzeentch the Watcher. The Peasant Long Spears are coming in, trying to provide some support to Tzeentch, but a big banishment right in the middle of their formation, nuking half of the remaining unit off the map, and you can look at their HP going down so fast due to the well-placed spell. Now Zhao Ming is in the vicinity, dropping onto Lord Master Mundi, trying to bail Tzeentch out of this fight. Balance of power is actually in favor of Cathay because of the loss of Dressorian. You can see the Dressorian is in the battlefield no more, and the single entities of Cathay do have a bit of advantage here. Zhao Ming and Tzeentch combined are probably better at melee than Master Mundi and Rev Crystal together with their melee power, so they can probably win out in a straight up fight. But the problem is that Lord Master Mundi and Rev Crystal can heal each other. The Rev Crystal can't heal itself, but Apotheosis can provide that kind of healing, and Lord Mazdamundi is still a very, very powerful lord, doing some pretty good damage against Tzeentch the Watcher, preventing him from attacking as well, as Tzeentch is now dragged in melee, no longer able to shoot his massive bow into Lord Mazdamundi's face. At the same time, Bowmore has pushed back most of the Grand Cathay infantry. A lot of them are just scattered all over the battlefield and are significantly weakened at half health. And what's left of Cathay are just some tattered melee infantry, no more AP fire to threaten those massive dinos. This might give Cathay a major problem in finishing off Mazdamundi and the Rev Crystal due to the lack of firepower. But the balance of power is still against Lizardman right now, especially when Zhao Ming still hasn't activated his Burning Vambraces for the burst heal. Though part of Cathay's balance of power lies in Tzeentch's ammo, so the crewmen are trying desperately to push back Lord Mazdamundi and bail out Tzeentch. Mazdamundi has his healing cap in sight, though he still has over 6,000 HP, a massive final transmutation upgraded version, draining the remaining health away from Lord Mazdamundi and the Bastiladon. Now Tzeentch is trying to hold in battle with the Peasant Long Spears providing some infantry support. Same goes for the Jade Warriors flooding into the fight here. Zhao Ming still trying to fight in melee here, and he probably needs to transform back into dragon form soon. I suppose he transformed back into human form just to cast the final transmutation, but once the spell is cast, I doubt he has much magic left for another overcast final transmutation, so he's just dropping a bit of a Plague of Rust here, debuffing the armor of Lord Mazdamundi, providing a little bit of damage boost for himself in his human form without the armor piercing value, and of course the non-armor piercing Jade Warriors and Long Spears. The problem for Lizardman is that Mazdamundi is running low in health and healing. His heal cap is almost there, while Zhao Ming is still very much healthy, still waiting for his burst heal. So Lizardman is just trying to maximize their advantage in terms of infantry support, really eliminating the last of the infantry units of Cathay, and not pinning down Empress Crowman and then the blow dots finishing off the unit, forcing them into that construct crumbling. And that kills off the last remaining infantry support for the Grand Cathay army. The peasants are all running away. Actually, the Grand Cathay army still managed to squeeze out one final transmutation against the Lizardmen, draining the health away from the Lizardmen dinos, doing some good damage. And I guess finally Zhao Ming has run out of magic after that one final transmutation, and he has returned to his dragon form, using his fangs and claws to pierce the armor of the Lizardman dinos, trying to snipe them out with melee. Tzeentch might just be able to bail himself out of this situation here, though the skink cords are still quite on top of chasing after Tzeentch the Watcher, refusing to let him get that free time to shoot. Bastiladon will be going after Tzeentch as well, though he was in a bit of a lagging mode. But finally, it seems like he has shrugged off his confusion now, charging straight for Tzeentch, headbutting his calf, dragging him into melee, most importantly preventing him from using the remaining half of his ammo. If the Lizardman keeps up the pressure, then Tzeentch might actually be prevented from firing a single shot for the entire game. Which is probably why Mazdamundi and the Rev Crystal are ignoring Zhao Ming and just going straight for Tzeentch, while the skink infantry are still scattered all over the place, chasing after routed Cathay infantry or preventing the returned ones from reinforcing Tzeentch, who is almost done for right now. And Lord Mazdamundi is just not giving up on the chase. We'll be doing a bit of fast forward here as Zhao Ming tries to intercept Mazdamundi and prevent him from keep going after Tzeentch, but Tzeentch down to less than 1,000 HP, taking another hit from Lord Mazdamundi and a bunch of blow dots. He will be crumbling away, and that leaves only Zhao Ming the Iron Dragon as the remaining stronghold of the Grand Cathay forces. And if we look at the battlefield overall, yeah, it's pretty much just Zhao Ming carrying the game right now. Let's see if he can do it, because, well, this is gonna be rough, because a lot of skinks are still around, but Zhao Ming does have that Burning Vambraces, providing that additional healing to reverse that balance of power. He might just be able to finish off the Rev Crystal and then solo Mazdamundi here. The problem is that the healing might actually overcome his DPS, especially with the Shield of the Old Ones mitigating his damage. Another problem is that the dragon model's janky attack animations make it rather hard for Zhao Ming to land hits on his opponents. He's fighting, but unfortunately he's just not landing hits on Mazdamundi, and on top of that there are all the skinks distracting his hits. At the same time, Mazdamundi is hitting back hard. On the far side there, the rest of the Grand Cathay infantry is faltering as well. Things are looking worse and worse for Zhao Ming really, as he is out of magic to cast Final Transmutation, his hits are not landing, and he is entirely alone right now. All the infantry support has been routed off by skinks. He is entirely banking on that Burning from Braces to bring back that balance of power, but can he get it done? We shall see, as he is running lower and lower in health. Skinks are swarming him from all sides. His leadership is dipping low as his health runs out. Balance of power is against him and is almost at Army Loss's territory, and he's still unable to activate his Burning from Braces, not quite hitting that threshold yet. And before he can get his healing, he has been defeated. GG to both Bowmore and SirGruut for this really close game, and congrats to Bowmore for winning this best of 3. Grand Catholic definitely had a bit of a lead in terms of balance of power there, as they were able to rout off the Dreadsaurian during roughly mid-game. However, Lizardmen with their mutual healing, the Rev Crystal and the Apotheosis from Mazdamundi allowed the remaining 2 big dinos of the Lizardmen sustain themselves way into the late game and actually dragged down Zhao Ming and Tzeentch. And on top of that, Bowmore had a really good priority in terms of target there, really shutting down those Iron Hail Gunners early with a combination of bound spells, Ruination of Cities, and Banishment, plus the big monsters plowing into the Grand Catholic back line, preventing the Iron Hail Gunners from earning back their value. One of them didn't actually get a shot into their opponent. And on top of that, after crushing the Grand Catholic box with the monster overload, the skinks were able to just rout off the scattered Grand Catholic unit, earning back quite a bit of value and most importantly just preventing Grand Catholic from receiving any further infantry support, leaving those single entities alone. Despite Zhao Ming and Tzeentch earning spectacular value in the battle here, the healing just managed to sustain the Lizardman, and the rest of the Grand Catholic army didn't quite pull their weight other than the Crowmen, especially losing the Iron Hail Gunners, their best bet at killing the big dinos here. And Lizardman was able to secure the win with their big giant monsters crushing the Grand Catholic box. And yeah, that concludes today's video and the best of 3 series between Bowmore and SirGruut in last round's Warpstone Cup. If you want to see more Total Warhammer multiplayer action, especially more Warpstone Cup best of 3s, be sure to subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Tactical Lich, signing out.